Alright, my name is Angel Vidalis, and for my Module 4 project, I decided to do it on welding. Alright, so I'm going to start off with what is welding. Welding is a fabrication process used to join materials. Some of the most common materials are typically metals. Some brief history on welding. Welding has some ancient forms of welding, some aging all the way back to the Bronze Age and even Iron Age. The most modern type of welding was invented in the 19th century, which was called arc welding, um, which is sort of the same thing that we have now. These are the different types of welding: arc welding, oxy-fuel welding, resistance welding, and laser welding. Arc welding uses electricity to melt materials at a welding point. Some common tips of arc welding are metal arc welding, gas metal arc welding, gas metal arc welding, and gas tungsten arc welding. Um, these are some of the most common types of welding that I've seen personally. This picture right here on the left shows metal arc welding, which is also known as stick welding. Um, You can see in this picture, this guy right here has in his hand has the stinger, and then what makes it be called stick welding is the stick that he's using to make the actual weld. This type of welding can be used for basically anything. Some job that specifically uses it would be underwater welding. They usually do stick welding. The only difference is that the stick is usually covered in wax. That way it is waterproof, because if this stick gets even just a little drop of water, it's just kind of ruined. Um, the other type of welding we have right here is called gas metal arc welding. This right here is also known as MIG welding. What makes it different from stick welding is that the stinger is a little bit different. It's more shaped like a gun. And the welding machine is also different. In order to make welds on here, a type of wire is slowly going to be coming out of the tip of the stinger right here, and then he will also be introduced to the wire, which then makes the arc, and then that's where the metal starts. That's where the metal starts building, as you can see right here. Over here we have TIG welding. This type of welding right here is sort of similar to MIG. I get both of them confused all the time. This is sort of like a mix of stick and MIG. As we can see right here, the guy welding right here has the stick of material that he's using to weld. And then over here, the stinger is sort of the same as the MIG welding, but he has a different tip right here, which is called a cup. And then in the middle, he has a stinger. Basically, what he does is he puts a cup on the side at an angle, as you can see right there, and he'll lean it back and forth, and he'll sort of just kind of follow up with the metal rod, and that's how he creates his bead or his weld. Oxy-fuel welding. This type of welding combines oxygen and fuel to make a flame high enough to melt materials. This is usually used to weld pipes and tubes for repair. So like this says, it's used for pipes, but not like pipeline welding. This is used more for like plumbing welding. As you can see right here, this guy just has a small piece of pipe. One thing that I noticed when I was looking at this type of welding is that the actual welding machine, and then the stinger, I don't know if it's called the same thing here in this type of welding, but it is the exact same thing as the torch. And then as you can see, this guy has the stick right here from TIG welding. So all he does is just put up the torch and then the stick, and then he'll just create his beads like that, or his weld. Resistance welding. This one was a little bit new to me. I had never seen anything like it. So here, in resistance welding, it generates heat from resistance to an electric current flowing through the materials. It includes spot welding and seam welding, which are widely used in auto industry. So as you can see right here, uh, in the machine, we have a little example right here where the materials are like pressed down, and then through these right here, we can see that the electrodes are pushed through, and then they press the materials together. And over here on the seam, I can see why they would use this in automotive or stuff, and other applications like that where they need it for, let's say, exhaust systems and stuff like that. Laser welding. Laser welding uses a laser to join materials with very good precision and speed, used in aerospace, automotive, and even in the medical field. One thing I noticed about laser welding, as you can see right here, is sort of the same thing as a MIG, but the difference in bead is very different. It is very small. You can barely even see that it's welded. I can see what they use in aerospace. It's very quick and it's very precise. They do need those precise welds in aerospace. And then in the medical field, I don't know why they would call it welding, but I guess they do use the laser for eye surgeries. Applications of welding. These are different types of jobs that you can get, or different industries they can get into with welding. You can get into construction industry, automotive industry, aerospace, and manufacturing industries. Welding and construction. This is sort of the industry that I'm most familiar with because I work in the construction industry. I'm not a welder personally, but from what I've seen is on these walls right here. These are called tilt-up walls. What the welders will do on the buildings that I've seen right here is that they will weld the trusses, the metal trusses that are all over here, sort of the same thing as the beams. They will weld up the trusses, and then they'll also weld the walls to the foundation. So in our projects, we have small plates on the corners right here that will get welded onto the foundation, and the foundation will also have the small plates as well, and that connects the wall to the foundation. And then after that, the trusses go in, and that just kind of solidifies the building, keeps it in place. And then ironworkers also have a welding division where they just kind of go in after the bolts are placed down and sort of just weld sort of like right here or maybe over here where beams kind of join together just to give it a little bit of uh, extra strength. Automotive welding, like this guy right here, he's welding frames together, and welding for automotive in the automotive industry isn't just used for frames. It can be used, it basically done in the whole part of the whole car. So let's say your hood's probably welded in, basically the whole shell of your car is welded and put together like that. I'm more used to seeing exhaust systems get welded. Like this guy right here, he's welding in the exhaust for a car. Usually for these type of jobs, it's MIG and TIG being used. Like this guy right here, I can tell he's using MIG just because of the way this thing is shaped. Aerospace welding. I did not know too much about this, but from what I researched, aerospace welding is mainly just making space shuttles, satellites, and airplanes, things of that nature. The welding that they use in this industry is laser, MIG, and TIG, which makes sense for me. These are sort of the more precise ones and the quickest ways. Like this guy right here, I can't really tell, but it looks like he might be using laser welding technique. Manufacturing, these guys just kind of make like this guy right here. He makes parts for, let's say, irrigation or something that involves pipes. These guys will make anything from industrial parts like this guy to household items in your home. They usually work in shops or factories. As you can tell, this guy's working at a big shop. Um, these jobs can use any type of welding, so stick, MIG, TIG. Um, Either one gets used here. One of the biggest concerns with welding is safety. There's a lot of risks with welding, and then there's a lot of uh, gear that comes into play. Some of the health risks while welding are falls. One of the biggest, the number one killer in construction is falls, and a lot of guys that are up on the beams are at risk of falling, or like these guys right here on the man lift could be at risk of falling. Another one is fumes are insanely toxic from welding. These could cause lung problems or even different types of health risks. Maybe sometimes they even cause cancer. And then if you are not wearing proper gear, you will lose your eyesight slowly. Uh, I have seen this happen to a family member because they were not wearing the proper eye protection. Some of the proper gear that you can use. So for the guys that are up 6 feet and above, these right here are harnesses that they can use, and then over here you can see this little thing hanging right here that's called an S rail or a yo-yo. It is used to catch you if you fall. It sort of works as a seatbelt. As soon as it feels some fast movement, it'll just stop right there. And if you're already falling at a high speed, it'll slow down the fall until it stops at around 8 feet, sometimes 6. And then like these guys right here, they have lanyards. So these are just like straps that you use to like pull your cart or anything like that. I personally would not wear one of these because then you might end up getting hurt because you'll end up falling 6 feet and then you'll get caught, and that's not really that good. You end up breaking something like that. Some other gear you can use is obviously a welding hood, so you don't lose your eyesight, and that way you don't get sparks all in your face. And then over here, like this guy, he's wearing fire resistant gear, and then like this jacket and his gloves. In conclusion, welders are very much needed in our economy. They basically put together the whole country.